It's March and the Maitland Christmas cases are still going through the motions here at Maitland Local Court. I forgot my Santa hat. In January, we discovered that Christmas Day guy is charged with damaging something. This confirmed the whole point of this Christmas special, which was, can I find out information about cases that required the court to operate over the Christmas period? Remember, Christmas Day guy appeared as a fresh custody at Parramatta Local Court on Boxing Day. Anyways, in March, there is another mention for Christmas Day guy. However, I waited about 2 hours only for the case to be adjourned because both he and his solicitor didn't show up. Now, there were a couple of other Maitland cases in the Christmas period, but I randomly picked Christmas Day guy because I don't have time to follow them all. As luck would have it, on this day in March, while waiting for Christmas Day guy's case, a Christmas Eve case is sentenced. So let's discuss that case. The Christmas Eve defendant is a 25-year-old tradie, I'm not going to say what trade, and this is his first firearm offence. There are 4 charges. Possession of an unregistered firearm, not having a firearms licence, possession of ammunition, not storing the firearm correctly. Story goes, police execute a search warrant on the tradie's home on the 23rd of December. That's Christmas Eve. In particular, they search a manhole in the garage where the guy is said to be living. How the police became interested in the manhole in the garage, which led to the search warrant, is not explained. Police go up the manhole and discover a .303 bolt-action rifle, which I think is one of those old World War Army type guns. I don't know much about guns. The bolt is hidden separately to the rifle. The .303 is wrapped in a towel, hence the charge for not storing the gun correctly. They also find a single bullet, hence the ammunition charge. By the way, the bullet doesn't go with a .303. We are told it suits a different type of gun. The court is told the rifle was passed to the tradie from his grandfather and is kept for sentimental reasons. Police refuse bail and the tradie appears at Parramatta Local Court on Christmas Eve. The court goes on to refuse bail. We hear he spent a total of 18 days in jail, which included Christmas Day and New Year's. Now, we don't hear any of the bail concerns that led to bail being refused. However, we get insights during sentencing because the tradie was on a community corrections order at the time. The CCO is for stalk and intimidation towards an ex-partner. This includes threats of violence via text, where the magistrate explains the use of a firearm is not directly said but inferred. On this day, the magistrate repeats out loud some of the threats from the stalk and intimidation case. Yes, we get to hear C words in full and all sorts of colourful words, which I'm not going to say. So it's the previous conviction that's having an influence on this new firearms case. So much so that the magistrate announces that this case has crossed the threshold for jail. This gets a reaction from the tradie's supporters who start silently moving around. They are probably his family members and they appear worried. You get the impression they are concerned he's about to go back inside. However, he's convicted and sentenced to jail in the community for 8 months plus another community corrections order. So as a member of the public, you can find out about cases that required the court to operate over the Christmas period. By the way, there are no media stories about this case. Perhaps it would be beneficial for the community to hear about this case. In particular, how having a previous conviction can impact on your next conviction. This may deter people from offending, especially when there is a possibility that you may suddenly find yourself in jail for Christmas.